What's up, guys? Welcome back to AI Infused Network with me, Riff. Thank you for joining me on another video. Now, we're still on our way towards 500 subscribers, so make sure you like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Now, on this video, we're going to talk about ChatGPT, but I'm going to try to break it down like year 5 because it took me a little bit to understand it, and now I want to pass on that information to you guys. So by the end of this video, you should be able to know the basics of how ChatGPT works, where did it come from, what the heck is a transformer architecture, and why do you need to pay attention to this very closely. Now, without any further ado, let's go.
Okay, so how did this even come about? 2 words you need to know: transformer architecture. And no, you do not even remember that, but Google designed this transformer architecture and had this technology just sitting there. Now, what this architecture is really good at is learning how to apply context. This will be very important later, so keep that in mind. Also, it's even better when you use pre-trained examples, right? Hence the word GPT is pre-trained. That word's in there. Now, Google had this transformer architecture just sitting there, and OpenAI came and used it as the base of what we know as generative pre-trained transformer, right? The GPT. Now, that's just a fancy word for being able to prompt the GPT and get a reply. How does it work? Simple. Predicting the next word. That's right. This whole time, you might have thought it was something else, but it's really just trying to predict, right? You ever used your iPhone or whatever phone you have and you're typing and you're seeing like that next word in there? Sort of like that. But this one is going behind the scene and it's using a lot of predictions. How much? Now, through inference and context, they found that the GPT can answer basic questions intuitively. And that was with 117 million parameters, right? Which is your trained data. Now, the first GPT used 117. Guess what the second GPT used? 1.5 billion. That is a lot of parameters, which is like specific data, okay? Now, you may think, wait, won't they just run out of data? Because there is, it reaches up to a point, right? At some point, the first GPT was trained to like 2021. So if you asked any questions beyond that, it will just give you some blah, blah, blah. Now, because ChatGPT is not connected to the internet and it doesn't remember anything you previously asked it. Now, these were part of the first iteration of ChatGPT. Now, why is it important to know this information? Because it's not like it's going to take your job. And you're right, it probably won't. But someone that knows how to use ChatGPT will take your job. Now, just like if you didn't learn how to use a computer back in the days, someone who could would get a job before you will. Regardless of how you feel about artificial intelligence, we will never go back to using computers without AI because at worst, it makes us more efficient in so many ways, right? We've been feeding the internet with human data since its inception. And being able to use this data in a smart way is what essentially GPT has become. Now, how much data do we have out there? Just think about how much data Google has been collecting ever since their search engine went live. Also, you have Google Mail, Business Suite, Google Ads, Hey Google Speakers, TV apps, climate control with Google Nest, Google Phones, and Google Glasses, all types of data they can collect, right? And with all that data, ChatGPT is able to reference as many predictions as possible to be able to spew out what you're asking for in some intuitive manner. Now, the first version was not perfect, so it answered questions wrong a lot of times, but I think we were onto something. Okay, so why is this important? Why do you need to know this? Because somebody out there is learning how to use ChatGPT, learning prompt, learning the backbone, learning the back end. So before the company that you work for will implement ChatGPT or some type of AI within their system, it's very important that you might know this information to kind of transfer your current job and add a little bit of AI into it so you're not surprised. Now, you might get yourself ahead before, they start letting people off, as the GPT will be more efficient than we are because it is. Now, as a recap, if you were 5 years old and you asked me, how does ChatGPT works? I'll tell you, well, it's a language model that takes your information, trains on it, and then tries to predict what you would like to see, right? So if you want to see an image, if you want a document, if you want an essay, it's able to predict it based on everything that it's been training on. It's just a big prediction, okay? Now, that is not anything scary, not conspiratorial. They're not doing anything wild, right? The papers are there. You can read it. Now, they're able to discover things because they're pushing the compute, and now the computer's doing things that they didn't predict, but The computer can. So is it best to get on board with AI? I think it's best to at least keep an eye on it, pay attention to your company, what they're doing, and when are they planning on adding it, so you can be prepared. If not, you might get surprised later when someone else that knows how to use AI a lot better than you will be taking your job and your coworker and your other coworkers, because they can do probably 10 people's job with one person. So you're still going to need people, and I think it's going to take a while before these models really become household items at companies and firms.